I started teaching myself when I was 4 years old.
4?
Yeah, four.
That's insane.
I had seen a neighbor do a flip.
He cracked his skull at 4 and got back up. What Dom says next, every leader needs to hear.
The popular kids table, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go and sit with them over there. Like, why are they sitting by themselves?
Facts.
And this is before cell phones and stuff. So like that person's literally just sitting over there by themselves. If something like that happens to you, you're gonna be terrified of it for the rest of your life.
For sure.
Or you're gonna be one of those. I was one of the rowdy ones where I'm like, oh, I need to do it again. It's not like I'm retiring by any means, obviously, but it's like I don't need to train to prove anything to anyone else. Like I've done a lot of incredible things, and I know that things are starting to go really well for you. I love that for you. So do it. Just spread your wings and just like I was like, holy shit, I can fly. Like the first time I stepped in here.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast Conversations That Count. I am joined today with Dom Lewis, gymnast, flipper extraordinaire, and future ninja warrior. I'm calling it here when you see him on TV. Remember, I said it first. So, Dom, before I over-introduce you, can you introduce yourself? Tell us about you.
Yes. My name is Dominique Lewis. Most people call me Dom. The internet knows me as Domatrick. And I do flips and things for a living. So it's something I've done most of my life, and I'm blessed and grateful to have been able to turn my passion into a career and kind of talk about it.
Man, I love it. And he's so humble. He says, I do flips for a living. He does a lot more than flips. It just, that's probably the exciting part.
That's the gist of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing that scares me, so it makes me want to watch. I'm like, man, I can't imagine doing 12 backflips in a row.
Well, you will later on today.
This is true. He convinced me pretty quickly to join a class where I might not make it on the other side of. So we'll see.
You'll do fine. You'll do fine.
No, I mean, especially since. So Dom, I want to start at the beginning. So when did you first get into gymnastics and risking your life? When did that begin?
Pretty young, and actually to speak to like risking my life, it was pretty risky. I started teaching myself when I was 4 years old.
4?
Yeah, four.
That's insane.
I had seen a neighbor do a flip, and I'm like, you know what? I can do that. Obviously, I could not. But I saw him do one, and so I'm like, I'm going to try that. So I tried off the curb at home and landed really good on my head. I still have a dent in my head from it. So
You
got
were
a
4
good
years old.
Yeah, got a good skull crack, got my head still dented. And I was one of those kids where like one of the more fearless ones, because like a lot of times with kids, especially at that age, it's like if something like that happens to you, you're going to be terrified of it for the rest of your life.
For sure.
Or you're going to be one of those, like I was one of the rowdy ones where I'm like, oh, I need to do it again because I like,
You're like, I lived.
yeah, I'm like,
means
I
can
live.
try
Like, I
again.
want to be able to do it and actually like succeed. And so, I mean, I kept trying, and like I ended up getting it later that summer. Like, so still
You
at the,
got it that summer, though. So you're
So-
still 4. It's not like
Yeah.
you got this years later. You're like, no, I
Oh.
just kept trying all
No,
summer.
I got it, and then I just ran with it. Like I kept doing it my entire life, and it was more of like a recreational hobby thing. From age 4 to 16, I trained outside only. I had never been to a gym like this, or any gym of any kind, and
12 years, just
yeah.
pure.
grass and concrete.
Yeah.
And where I lived most of my childhood actually was in a trailer park, and we did not have we couldn't have trampolines or anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I want to do these flips and things. And this was before YouTube or anything like that. So I was just like flipping around doing cool stuff. And I have siblings and things, and so my brothers would do it as well. And we were thinking we were inventing a lot of the stuff we were doing. Little did we know that like there were people out there doing it much better. But yeah, so like that's kind of how it all started for me, was just like seeing a neighbor do it, and I'm like, all right, me too.
Man, so what was it like when you first, so you were 12 years, grassroots, bumping your head on the concrete. What was it like when you went from that to not any gym, but the gym we're sitting in?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Great question. I don't know if I'm allowed to like say bad words on here, but
Dude, do what you got to do.
because I mean, I like this is how I always think of it, and like this is what was going through my mind at the time. I was like, holy shit, I can fly. Like the first time I stepped in here, And well, right now we're in the smaller gym, the Fuse, but
Yeah.
in the big gym, like,
Which small is like.
yeah, small. Right. This is a nice.
People would
This is
kill
a
to be
really
in here.
nice gym.
Yeah.
This is the little gym compared to the big one in there. And went in there for an open gym at the age of 16, and then it was just that. I was like, holy shit, like I can fly. It's my first time on a spring floor, nice trampolines, things like that. But it was also a good humbling moment because I'm seeing these actual gymnasts in there also training and doing skills that my brothers and I thought we made up. And so there's like a flip, back flip with a full twist, and it's just called a full for short.
Sure.
And growing up, we didn't know that. We thought we invented it, and we were calling it a Mick twist. Like no lie,
stop.
we
The
called it a
Mick
Mick twist.
That's a way better name.
Yeah,
Way bigger
that's what
fan
I'm
of the
saying.
Mick
We need to
twist.
change it to Mick twist. You guys hear
100%.
that? USA Gymnastics and everything, Mick twist. But like I come here and I'm seeing girls do triple Mick twist and stuff, and I'm like,
You're like, I don't know anything.
I'm like, first of all, how did she learn the Mick twist? Was she like watching us on the, like out in our yard or something? But like, it was a good, humbling moment, but also it like let me excel much faster when I realized like, wow, there are facilities like this that you can train safely, but also give you just like that extra, I don't know, extra help to do more things physically that, concrete and grass cannot.
I feel like the second you started doing that, you saw them doing 3-4 Mick twists at a time. You're like, the 4-year-old in you was like, oh my gosh, the world just got so big.
Oh,
Like-
it's a whole new world. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, it's incredible.
Man, and I think what's very interesting too is most people would give up the second they hit their head. Like you said, it's like people either give up or they're like, oh, I got to keep trying until I don't hit my head. Is that something you feel like just at 4 was always there? Do you feel like you came out the womb like that? Is that something that was like instilled in you? Is it because you had siblings? Like why do you feel like you kept flipping while other people stopped and quit?
That's a good question. And I guess I haven't really thought of that too much. So I'm glad you asked that. Like, I do think in part it does have to do with like, having siblings and stuff. And I have 7 siblings, by the way. Yes.
7's insane.
7 siblings. And most of us, so 7 of 8 total, are all very close in age.
Okay.
Like 8, including me, obviously. So yeah,
I was
with my-
thinking, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
8,
so
like-
so 7
Okay.
siblings, but if you include me, there's 8 of us.
So you guys were like back to back.
Oh yeah, so there are 7 of us between the age of 28 and 34. So we're like,
That's really cool though.
mhm,
That
it's
makes you
amazing.
tight-knit, yeah.
Exactly, but it's also like it gets rowdy,
Yeah.
and so obviously we're like fighting each other, like just doing rowdy stuff, and so like dealing with stuff where it's like, ouch, that hurt. It didn't like necessarily deter me as much as it would someone else who isn't used to like falling really hard or getting hit or something. It's like
Yeah.
some people don't have that same response to like pain or something, knowing like, oh, it's not the end of the world, and like you're not
You're gonna
dying,
be okay.
like you're fine. Yeah, you're not gonna
Facts.
die, like you're okay. So I think that's a big part of it, is having like just a big family and just being a rowdy, fun kid. I was also very, very, very outdoorsy. Obviously, I was outside flipping, but I loved being out in the woods and stuff, and I'd play in the creek, and like I would go to the ditches and catch frogs, and so I was just very like rugged and rough as a kid, as it was.
Yeah, you were definitely coming home with the scraped up knees. Your mom like,
Oh,
oh my
all
gosh,
the-
what did you do?
She would be, man, the amount of times like just wearing jeans or something, and all of a sudden there's
Holes
no
in
more.
them.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the knees are gone in the jeans, and it's just like bloody knees showing.
And you're just like, Mom, look at this frog I got. She's like, look at your pants.
It's so funny you just said that, because she will still talk, like if she's talking to friends of hers or something, explaining me as a kid, she would talk about how like, and this is sad in hindsight thinking about it, but like as a kid I didn't know any
Yeah.
better, but like I'd put frogs in my pocket and stuff, and she'd like
gosh,
wash my
stop.
clothes and find frogs in the washer, like like now looking back,
Oh,
like that's
no, they're-
cruel.
That's so
But I
tough.
didn't
It
think
wasn't
of
on
it.
purpose.
No, not at all.
In your
It's
mind,
like,
you're
I'm
like, oh, I got a pet frog.
Yeah.
We're going to hang out later. And you forget because you're
I'm a kid.
5 years
I'm
old.
I'm gonna change my pants and run back outside. Yeah. So my mom will be like, "Yeah, I'd find frogs in his pocket," and yeah, I was. But yeah, so tying it all back though,
I get you. I get you.
rugged, rough kid as it was, but very like carefree and just happy, and I don't know, just always liked pushing limits of anything, and that was always a big one, is like flips and stuff. So yeah.
Now, I love that. Do you Do you have something though, like a trick, a move, something that you have done that still scares you?
Still scares me.
Yeah, that where it's like, man, I feel like I'm pushing my limit every time I do this move, but I still do it because you're that same 4-year-old.
Yeah,
that hit
it's
his
true.
head.
I will, being honest, I wouldn't say anything that I've done has actually like really scared me.
Okay.
Because I always make sure that I'm like ready to do it.
Okay. So you have the
I always take
preparation.
the proper steps and stuff. But there are a couple different skills now where like me being older and just knowing that like I'm heavier, older, heavier. It does take a little bit more to recover and stuff. That like maybe if I do this one, it might tweak something, or like I might hurt my ankles, or like tweak my knee a little bit, and then I'll be out for a whole week. Versus like 10 years ago, and if I would have done it at a session, I would have tried it again right after, type of thing. The main skill that I would say is the one that does that for me is a double layout, which is on the floor, specifically on the spring floor.
Okay.
Which is a double backflip in the air, but with your body completely extended.
Oh, so you're still straight?
Yeah. So it's so a layout is just a backflip with your body completely laid out, and so double layout. So 2 flips in the air, completely laid out, and I am definitely one of the older people in the world who still do that on the floor. Most gymnasts who do it competitively retire that move a bit earlier. Like I'm 33 now. Most people over the age of like 25 aren't trying that on the floor anymore. And I still do it, and I've had like knee surgeries and stuff, so I'm more apprehensive when I do it, and I like drill like I'll do a bunch of passes just to make sure that like, okay, am I getting the right height? Whereas 10 years ago,
You just go for it.
I would just chuck it. Like that would be a warm up kind of. So that's the one. It's like, it's one I want to keep because it is pretty specific to me. Again, like not many people do it, especially in the tricking space, like in martial arts tricking and like the tricking world that I'm very involved in. Now, as for like gymnastics, there are definitely gymnasts out there doing that same skill, but much more difficult. Now, like they'll do it with twists as well, like double layout with multiple twists and things, but they're also not as heavy and not as old as me. So for me, yeah, I'd say that's one that's pretty specific to me, and one that, again, not scary, but one I have to approach with caution.
I get you. You know, something you said that made me, like, it hit me like a brick every time. Almost made me uncomfortable. You kept saying, not as old as me. I'm a little old to be doing this. And it's like, you're only 33. And it's like, but I get it, because in this space, it's like everyone is way younger than you.
Yeah.
So what is that like, still competing and like operating at such a high level when you have so many people who are younger than you in the space? Even again, you're young. Saying that to myself too, but you're young.
Right. We are like,
We're young.
in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
still young, very young.
But compared to your cohort, it's like you're much older than them.
Yes.
What is that like
I'm
in
more
that
of like
competition?
a lot of people call me Uncle Dom in the
Dom at
space.
33 is
and what's
crazy.
crazy is like, so that's like an internet thing now, is where people will call people Unk and stuff as like a joke. I've been called Uncle Dom in the tricking world for like probably about 10 years now. So like they were calling me that before.
At 23, they were calling you Uncle Dom.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just it is. It's nuts. But it's just, I guess, also because I've always been just a little bit more like mature. It's like now, I mean, obviously I should be, because I'm at this age. But when I was younger, I was like more mature and like.
Are you
just the way
older
I
sibling,
speak.
younger sibling, in the middle? Where are you at?
I'm number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so you're one of the older siblings, for
yeah.
sure.
One of
3 is
the
older.
older,
So
yeah.
that's probably why you were more mature.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
that's
also
how
the
you.
smartest sibling.
I
But
feel like every sibling says that.
I know,
but,
I know. But so I think that's one of the reasons, like other trickers and stuff. I mean, it comes with the territory of the fact that it like skateboarding, that's like rebellious and like very free and stuff.
Yeah.
Where it is seen as a little bit more immature, and I just had more of a mature approach to it. Like I still will have fun and do all the things, but like, I don't know, just a little bit more serious in a way, I guess. And so that's why people would be calling me Uncle Dom. But going back to your question, is like now at my age and still doing this stuff,
you
to
do
me,
insane stuff.
I do. Okay,
It's insane watching.
It is. It
It's
really
sweet.
is.
It's dope insane, but it's still like.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I will say though, like now when I'm training, it is to pretty much maintain my skill level. I'm not trying to get any better. I've done a lot of cool things, And I've done some things that no one else in the world has still yet to do.
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, you know what? It's not like I'm retiring by any means, obviously, but it's like I don't need to train to prove anything to anyone else. Like I've done a lot of incredible things, and I feel like if I tried to push past what I have done at my age now, and like just with injuries over the years and just wear and tear on the body as the human body does, it's like it could end up being a little bit more serious if I do get hurt trying some of those like much harder skills.
Sure.
And so it is, again, like just trying to maintain my skill level. And I love watching and like being around the newer generation of all the trickers and like
Probably keeps you young.
Oh, it does. Because I'm around all these people that are just like super fun and happy and always doing stuff. And so I get to do all this stuff and I can still go to the sessions, but people now are looking more to me to like kind of, oh, can you help me out with this? Or like, give me some tips on this. And I can still train and stuff and do my own thing, but I don't feel like I need to prove myself at all. And I also don't really compete, because you mentioned like competing and stuff. I've never been one of the guys who is like one of the main competitors in the space. I've always been well known in the acrobatic world for like all the crazy stuff, but I've always been more of like on the judging side, and because I'm like more technical and stuff. And while I am competitive in some ways, I've never been competitive enough to where I'm like, I want to go and compete in tricking battles and like be the top tricker in that aspect, because I'm like, I don't really care. I'd rather see them win. Like, I mean, that's
no facts.
Like, I want to sit and watch them. I want to watch them do their thing.
When I think of competitive, because there's 5 of us, so 5 siblings too. So it's like when
So you
I
got a
mean,
big family.
and I'm the oldest, so it's like for me, I always needed to be. Even if I don't need to compete in the space, it's like I still have to be great at something.
Oh yeah.
So when I
keep them in line.
You got to keep them in line, you know? So it's like when I say competitive, I more of mean like, man, I saw that person do a sweet trick. I need to go do that too now.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go try that. But that's cool too that you've gotten in these years to step into more of like a judging leadership role as well, while still maintaining your high level of skill. I feel like there's something super important when you're like mentoring and teaching, but you can also do.
Yes.
You know, it makes people want to hear what you have to say, because it's like, well, he's not just someone sitting there behind the judging table saying what I did cool.
Right.
He's going to tell me whether I did good or not, and then he's going to go do the same trick next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it gives you a different level of authority.
It does.
Like.
It does. And I would say like it is a cool position to be in, just because it is not the most common to where you do get, it's like, especially in something like maybe gymnastics or something. I keep saying or something, but in gymnastics or sports similar where that you do have people that are sitting at a judge's table, and usually they're much older and they might not have ever even competed, but some of these people, even though they can't really do the skill, are still like so incredibly intelligent with seeing and like understanding body mechanics that it does make sense for them to be there. And that's why they're in that role. But it does, as you said, like give more credibility, especially to some of these people, like younger people currently asking me things, because they know like, okay, not only has he done all this stuff and he understands it all, but he is still actively doing it. And so, yeah, it is a little bit different, because I've never been one like that. Like, I forget how the phrase even goes really, but it's like those who can't do, teach, and those, you know,
who do. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I forget exactly how it goes.
Those who can't teach and those who can do, I think is how it goes.
Something like that. But it's like there are definitely plenty of credible people who are coaching and judging or whatever that might not really be super active in the actual sport physically, but definitely understand
They have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And there's something that can be said just for having the knowledge and like analyzing the footage.
And because there are plenty of mega talented athletes who, and a lot of people in like the tricking world, or because I grew up doing martial arts as well, and so like in the martial arts world or the martial arts tricking world, which is obviously the more freeform stuff, or even in gymnastics, there are plenty of the people who will, even like, I'm trying to think of how my train of thought was going with this. Oh goodness. I had a good point. My brain just kind of scattered off.
So we were at, there's plenty of people who are in these spaces.
Yes.
Who might be great athletes, but might not do that specific thing.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Like in tricking or even in gymnastics and things, who would admit that they're not they might not be the best coach.
Sure.
Because they might be able to understand it, but like they don't know how to properly tell someone else how to do it other than like what they've been told necessarily.
And if someone's a naturally gifted athlete too, and they didn't have to figure it out, it's like try teaching someone and it kind of was intuitive.
Yes.
I feel like that's tough.
And it definitely, but I will say like me being self-taught does help me coach others because it's helped me take an unorthodox approach to stuff. Whereas I stepped into the space of coaching. My first ever job actually was coaching in this gym.
Of course.
Which I know it's cool. This gym, everything's full circle. All American Flames Gymnastics, Port Huron, Michigan. But I will praise this place till the end of my days. But it was my first ever job, and I learned a lot of like it helped me a lot like with my own technique by learning how these people are doing this in a very controlled setting. Sure. But it is also more rigid in that same sense where with gymnastics, it's like it has to be done this way or it's incorrect. Whereas like me being self-taught and having that new knowledge
formal
of like
training.
This is the formal way to do it, it's helped me as a coach to like let people understand like listen to your body and whatever works for you might work better this way than this other way. Whereas some people think there's only one set way and like we're all different body types. We have different ways we move. We're mobile in different ways. And so none of us are the exact same. And so we will move in different ways. So you will learn in different ways as well.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I can relate to that. So when I was younger, my grandma had me in Boy Scouts, right?
I was a Boy Scout. Let's go.
Of course. I love Boy Scouts. That's what I'm talking about. So she had me in Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, Eagle Scouts, all of it. And every year, we had to sell stuff, right? We had to sell candy. We were always trying to win popcorn. All the popcorn. I was going crazy. I'd be out of grocery stores, going door to door. It didn't matter, right?
Yep.
Going insane. So like then I had to kind of learn how to sell just by doing it, right? Just by going out there, talking to people. I had to learn how to communicate and speak. But then as I got older, I was like on the debate team. Became captain debate team. Then I was in mock trial in college. And then I was in sales when I got older. And it's like, I relate to that because I had to learn how to like speak to people very young, how to communicate very early. My grandma was huge on communication, but it wasn't formally taught, right? So because of that, I feel like when I was leading people and I was like training and teaching, I would always get some of the lowest performers. There we go. That's the wording I was looking for. I would get some of the lowest performers and say, hey, can you make this person good? And it's where a lot of people might fail and not be able to help. I'd be like, all right, well, you don't necessarily have this skill, but I think that if you did this, you like tweak this a little bit, you could do it. Because I had to step away from like, here's just follow the script and do this. It's like, I need you to do what works for you. And it's going to be a little messy at first, but try it this way. It'll end up working. And it's like people who are who wanted to give up are like, actually, no, I think I can do this. But it's because I like was learning how to communicate and speak and sell from a child. And so I feel I can see how you then did the same thing in the tricking world. And like you were in these formal spaces where it's like, yeah, I know there's this formal way of doing it, but come over here, follow the rules. But maybe if you did it a little differently like this, you might find success.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. I feel like we're the same person in ways. Like that's pretty cool. Yeah. We just grew up an hour away from each other.
Man, not even that far.
Right.
It's actually so close. And I want to actually ask too, because you grew up big family, you grew up in a community setting, and now you've taken it. And not only do you have the in-person community setting, like you're trying to make it to the chili cook-off today, you missed it, but you also then made it to the snowmobile race because outside your house, you're coming back to Michigan once a month to visit your family. Like community ties are huge to you.
Yes.
And on top of that, then you built an online community where I feel like you're still even very personable and very human on there. How did you take that like very in-person human community feel, and how do you then translate that online so well? No, it's a loaded question.
Yeah. No, it's a like I do like that. That's another one where I haven't really thought of that comparison. But I have always been someone who tries to be personable and just tries to be nice to people. And I mean, that's how I've always been my whole life. And I don't like saying like, oh, I was like a popular kid in high school, but I was one of like, I just like to be friends with everybody. Sorry? Oh, social butterfly. Yes, good.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is like I've always been one where I don't mind talking to anybody. And so in school growing up, like there would be kids who were sitting alone at lunch, and like I have my group of friends at the popular kids table. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go and sit with them over there. Like, why are they sitting by themselves?
Facts.
And this is before cell phones and stuff. So like that person's literally just sitting over there by themselves. Like that makes me sad. Like I don't like
100%.
that. And so I've always been just treat people well. And I don't know, like it makes you feel good. But I also believe that good things happen to good people. At least they should. And
I think so.
And so like I kind of also translated that to online, like not even intentionally. It's just who I am as a person. Yeah. And so I know that there are internet trolls and stuff, and like I'll even get hate messages sometimes, like whatever.
Crazy.
I know
I'm
it's
trying to figure out
nuts,
like what could they even say?
People say crazy. I mean, the craziest stuff is like stuff that you can't control. It's like skin color, like stuff like that. But like
course,
people will also be like, "Oh, well, you're fat. Like, how are you doing all this?" I'm like, "Well, why aren't you doing it then? Like, you're in shape. Like, show me how." Like, I don't know, but I always it comes back to the point where it's like all of these people, even though they're like behind a screen, they're still people, and and I don't even like calling people fans, like fans of mine, but like just the community that I've built. I try my best to just like reply to most comments and like DMs and things, and like as long as they're appropriate, obviously, because there are some crazies out there that are saying some crazy stuff.
Of course.
But I don't know. I just treat it as if they are new friends. You know, it's like they're people and they're new friends of mine. And like if they're interested in watching what I'm doing and stuff, why wouldn't I treat them with respect and be nice?
I love that, man. And now here's what I'm going to ask you to be really nice and give away a little bit of sauce. So I think what's really impressive is you're an athlete, and I don't know if it's the right phrasing, but you're almost like a niche athlete too, because you don't hear about like tricking in the way of like flips, right. And you just don't see that very often. Like I wasn't even very familiar with it until I started seeing your content. I'm like, whoa, this is insane. And you still took a niche athletic ability and something that you do, and you blew it up into a huge community. What would your advice be to athletes like yourself? Maybe they're in a very like mainstream type sport. Maybe they're in one that's more niche, you don't hear more about. What would you recommend to them? Like, how would they even start?
So if their goal is to just like, have an online presence in some way or to build a community, just don't be afraid to just take the step, like post your stuff.
Sure.
That's how I did it. When I started my Instagram, it was never intended to be what it is at all.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would amass like millions of followers across different social media platforms. Like that wasn't a thing. I just started it because I'm like, well, I do cool flips and stuff. And like when Instagram first started, it was just pictures. So I'd post like pictures of me mid flip, and I'm like, this was kind of cool. I thought it was cool. Like,
yeah, that's actually sweet. Like where you're just like in the air upside down.
Yeah. And some of my friends might want to see this and like it. And then I'll like, so it just started off as like just kind of sharing stuff like that. And then once the video started coming out and stuff, and I'm like, oh, well, this is cool. And I didn't realize that like, I don't want to underplay the fact that I understand that I am like gifted in a way. It has been a lot of work, but a lot of it has come naturally. And I know that's not the case for everyone. So some people do have to work harder than others. But I definitely have worked hard, and
you've been doing it since you were 4.
Yeah,
that's hard work.
It's been like, because I've done it for so long.
Yeah, 29 years.
Yeah,
you think about it,
almost 3 decades.
There are people who are in this who aren't even that 29 years old.
Dude, I've almost done this for 30 whole years. That's
insane. So you worked very hard.
I have,
but you are talented too, of course. Yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been.
But it was something I didn't intend to do, is like have it be this huge thing. And so now it has become such a thing for people to want to be big on social media for whatever reason. And I get like maybe wanting validation or something, but I think the best way to go about it and the best way to think about it is like post, like if you're trying to, again, build that online community or something, don't be afraid to just post whatever. Be you. Like, don't be someone different. Like, because you see this is working for someone else, you need to do it this way. No, because it might not work for you. So just be yourself. You are not that person. And so if you try, what I have seen is like when people try to be exactly like other people and then it doesn't work, they're really down on themselves, and they're like, it worked for them, but it didn't work for me, so I guess I'm not good enough. And that's like, it's not the case at all. It's like you just have to do your way, So be yourself, like just be authentic. Again, don't be afraid to just post whatever. Obviously, not whatever, but like don't be
Within
afraid.
reason,
To just, within reason, and just like be personable. So do like that is one thing I will say. It, like I said, don't try to copy other people, but if you're gonna emulate me in one way, I would say just be a kind person, especially online. But like in person, it's very important. But like online, you never know what these other people are like going, like you don't even know who they are sometimes. And like, it could be a little kid using an account that like they made and they fake their age and stuff. And, you know, you never know who you're actually talking to in that regard. And so just like be nice, be a good person, and don't listen to the hate. Like it's going to come, especially like the more popular you get, the more people are going to dislike it or be jealous or whatever. But just like, understand that they're probably going through something in their life that's making them miserable. Has nothing to do with you, so just brush it off. Like you're not, live your own life still, you know. But yeah, just be personable and work hard at it. Obviously, like especially if you're trying to build a brand, it does take work. Like you need to make sure you're not just doing applying to stuff and being nice to people. Like you got to start building a network. So start going to events and things. Like if you know there's local competitions or just local events, go and meet other
even just
people.
attend.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, just like go and meet these people. It could be anything, but like meet other people in the same space as you, or like whatever sport or whatever. And like it just opens a lot of doors, and that's another way to really build a genuine community outside of the online community, and then it grows from there, because then it's a big collaborative effort. I've made some of my best friends in my life through doing this stuff, and now the fact that we've been like so close, it makes it very, very easy to mesh well online, and we can do like collaborative stuff, and we go on trips together, just stuff like that, and then like that's also building a community where you're also pulling from the community they've built. So like now you have a new community. So just collaborate with people, but continue to be yourself. Don't change yourself for anyone online. That's a big thing. Like that's my biggest thing. Honestly, I'm rambling.
You're good. I think everything you said was right on point.
Yeah.
You weren't rambling. I think all of it was valuable, and it really comes down to being authentic, right? Like,
Yes.
I think especially as, to your point, so many people just want to be known online for inauthentic reasons. And on top of that, then you have AI as well. And I think everything's becoming so digital, like remote work and everything's so disconnected that communities like what you built in person is rare.
Yeah.
That
true.
like that extra push that people get. Like how many of us know our neighbors? You know, I think there was like a study done recently where they talked about that most people don't know who lives 2 doors down from them. If I were to ask you their name,
Crazy to
it's
think
crazy
about, because I
right?
don't know my neighbor.
But it's so true. And it's like, but if you were to look 40, 50 years ago, you knew everyone in your neighborhood, because there was no like, oh, I can connect with so-and-so in Brazil or Colombia.
Yeah.
Like I'm not so far away from where I am.
Right. You were connecting through a digital space. It's like you're connecting
I had to go
to
next
these
door.
people. Yeah.
Or it's like someone saw me try to flip off of a curb and hit my head, and they were like, man, I kind of want to go meet this person.
Yeah.
They're wild,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, so I think there's such a need for authenticity, and that I think that was the best recommendation you could have gave. If you're authentic in what you create, you'll learn how to like do the lights, and you'll learn what's the right equipment and what content to catch, but at least it's authentically you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the part that people miss a lot. And I want to see too, I noticed that you've kind of branched out even just from doing only the online. Like you started building businesses on top of it. Mm-hmm. What has that transition looked like? Still keeping your authenticity in your brands, like your clothing brand. I saw you got the apparel brand going.
Yep. Like
when you're traveling, coaching, how do you stay authentic within kind of like even the rules you have to follow when you're doing it all?
And so again, it just goes back to being that authentic person, but I like who I am as a person is big in my online presence, but also in the way I do any sort of business. So with my clothing brand, the whole reason it was started was because this is tying back into like the community thing. This isn't even my brand, Michigander. This is
I didn't think it was.
No, this is a good friend of mine. It's a band, Michigander band.
Okay.
But he's actually gotten super huge now. He's on the radio and stuff. It's awesome.
Oh,
but
shout out to him.
yeah, shout out to Jason Singer. But it's cool to have the last name Singer, and he's a really good singer. But Michigander band.
He got lucky.
He got lucky. But my brand is Mighty Mitten Apparel, and like I've lived in New Orleans for 9 years now, 9-ish years, and I still always just tell everyone how amazing Michigan is, and like where I'm from. Like I always talk about it, and I know that my body is not going to be able to do all the things I do forever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? I want to build a business that is like something that can live on, and it won't take me being like super physical to do it. And it also is like paying like respects with my ties to home. So I started Mighty Mitten Apparel, and it's strictly Michigan stuff. And so it's like, it's where I'm from, and I love everything about Michigan. And it's like, that's my true community. It's like the people that I grew up with here, and like my family here, like Port Huron, this gym. So it's like, that's my main community. And then I've built other little communities in other places I've been,
Of course.
but like this will always be home. And so it just goes back to kind of being who I am as a person, just like the Sense community thing, but also just being me and making sure I'm always me. And then aside from that, like the other parts of the business is like, I do have the clothing part. And when I film stuff, it's like, I'll still do flips and things, but I let people see a little bit more of me talking, or like me having fun with my family. So it's a different side of my life, but it is still real life. Like people normally only see the flipping and stuff.
No, facts.
And then they know me as a person through like how I communicate, maybe like replying and stuff like that, but they don't see much of the story or much of what's going on behind the scenes unless I'm doing things like this, which is so awesome. Like having a cool conversation. And like I'm thankful that people are able to see these different aspects of my life in different ways. And then that also translates into coaching, which is another big part of my like business in a way.
Sure.
Is because like that's one of the main reasons I travel, is like I'm doing private lessons, clinics, and seminars. I'm going to different gyms.
You teach a lot of people, man.
I do.
You touch a lot of lives.
And so that's a big thing for me, is like just trying to make an impact that lasts. And just knowing that like everyone that I'm interacting with is they're me at one point. Like when I was that age, trying to like learn and figure stuff out on my own, it's like, well, maybe I can help them out and like give them a little jump start. They don't have to do it in their backyard and land on their head a bunch. But yeah, so it just all kind of ties into community and just being who I am. And that's kind of how I've been able to make it work, I think. And I mean, I went to a business school. I got my degree in international business administration and everything.
Oh, nice.
And
I got an international relations. It's crazy.
There we go.
You're a little too much like
I
me.
know.
Now.
I'm saying, it's my long lost brother. I found out I have another sibling.
9th sibling for him. I guess I have a lot too now.
Yeah. Dang. What's your dad's name?
I'm almost scared to say. He has a lot of kids, actually. No, you're dangerous, Dom, because I could keep talking to you all day and all night about like just everything. You got a lot to give. I do want to ask, though, speaking of giving, there's a question I ask every guest that comes on the podcast. Tell me about a time you had a conversation that really counted. Maybe it was you impacting someone else now that you're more of in this mentor role, or maybe it was back when someone really impacted you with something they said to you. I didn't prep him, by the way. I just put him on the spot.
No, I know. So now wait.
There's no warning.
You guys might be sitting here with a minute of silence. I have to think. Had a lot of meaningful things in my life.
Really see the gears turning.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to just pick like one, but that's tough to pick like kind of one conversation.
You're gonna make a lot of people very upset that it wasn't them, and one person very happy.
I know. You know what? Okay, I do have one. This one is a good one. This is super meaningful, actually. Because what I was gonna say is just like when I'm coaching, especially with kids who like really struggle with stuff.
Sure.
when they finally get something like a skill or just like the joy and things like that, and just like knowing that I help them. But that isn't necessarily the conversation. It's like coaching. Conversation. My old summer job was at a place called Flip Fest, which is like an Olympic gymnastics camp in Tennessee. And I lived there for 4 summers. And that was like my life. It's the coolest place on earth. And if anyone listening like has kids in gymnastics, they probably know about it. And if they don't, just look it up. It's a summer camp for gymnastics, and they have Olympic special guests come in every week and like train with the kids and all that. The 2 owners, they're both named John, which is funny, John and John. One of the Johns, like toward my last summer there is when I started to really kind of blow up online, and I was traveling a lot for different tricking events like all over the world.
Sure.
And I was not able to give enough time to like Flip Fest as much. And I kind of had a feeling it might have been like maybe my last summer there, especially like full time, because I'm just like, I'm getting too busy. But he like pulled me aside on like the last, we have like a party every week for the end of the week.
Oh, sick.
Because there's new kids every week and stuff. And then we, have end of the week party. And then there's a whole new batch of people next week.
I mean, each one gets a party at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And so he like had pulled me aside at one point and was just like, you know what? I know that things are starting to go really well for you. And like, I love that for you. So just like do it. Like just spread your wings and just like, just do it. And not in the Nike way, but like he was genuinely like, just, and I'm like, he said, like spread your wings and just like do it, go for it. And just live your life and like have fun with it. And I think about it every now and then, but you asking that like really made me like resonate and think of what conversations I've had like really, really did matter a lot.
John.
Yeah, John Rothberg.
Okay, that John.
John McCready's great as well, but John Rothberg is the one that said this to me. And I mean, from there it was kind of like, you know what? Like I'm gonna do this then. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but just grow it.
Yeah.
And that is what happened. So like that was earlier on in the beginning of my career starting to blossom. It's definitely come a long way since then. And this was almost, that would have been 2017. So yeah, that was like 9 years ago. So things have changed a lot in 9 years. And a lot of it does have to do with like him saying that to me and just like that conversation of like, should I do this? And yes, go and do it. Just like live your life and have fun. Like you don't have to stay here at summer camp every summer. Like just go and be an impact on more people. Cause I was impacting a lot of people there as a coach. And a lot of the kids would come back every summer excited to see me or other coaches that they're familiar with.
Sure.
And so it was very meaningful and like, it was huge, like seeing some of the same faces every summer and knowing like how much they've improved and like just building relationships with all these people and seeing their journey. Mm-hmm. But I've been able to do that now with thousands of people, which is pretty cool.
Man. And I love that it was 1-2 sentences that changed from impacting hundreds to thousands.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget how one conversation or just one statement could really change someone's life. And you probably have had so many of those you're still going to have. You're probably about to have one in 30 minutes when we do this class.
Yeah.
So
I'm wondering like someday, you might be talking to someone and they'll be like, you know what? I had this one conversation with Dom and he was coaching me and
you know what?
Yeah.
It's could happen.
Yeah.
It's a small world.
Yeah.
And I look
really
forward
is.
to it because you've impacted thousands. By then, who knows? Might be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing the hundreds of thousands you're going to impact.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So that's the goal.
Okay.
That's the goal. As many as I can.
Hey, you're on the way. So with that being said, as we wrap up, I always try to do a summary of what we talked about, some of the bigger impacts you left me with, you leave the audience with. And then after that, based on our summary together, because if I forget anything, I'll need you to jump in and help me.
Yeah.
We'll leave a challenge to the audience. Nothing crazy. We're not going to tell them to go out there and do 8 McTwists, right? No, we won't. We won't do that.
McTwist.
No double McTwist. No McTwist, because that's a challenge I know this host can't do. Yeah. I don't even want to talk about what the audience can do. So, but just like a challenge, a simple challenge we can let people take into the week that hopefully will impact them as well. So what I kind of got from everything we talked about, I think a lot of it stems back to authenticity, right? Like I think a lot of what got you to where you were and just being in this conversation with you, even when we were setting everything up and just chatting, it was all so much about authenticity and being yourself that as you build communities, it's not just about an online presence. It's the little communities around us that I think we miss, that we still need to make sure we're nurturing every day. Like, you come home once a month, which from New Orleans, which most people are like, that's absolutely crazy, but it just shows the importance of community being not only next door, down the street, but where you go. And not only authenticity to your community, but authenticity to yourself, right? Like, this journey started at 4 years old. You're 29 years in, and at 4 years old, people rarely even know what, I don't even know if they can remember when they were 4, let alone you, on the other hand, were like, no, I loved flipping, doing tricks, doing stuff that I didn't even know was a thing because YouTube wasn't a thing yet. So I think that's huge too, like that authenticity to who we were and who we started off with, and just keeping that journey going and letting it flourish into what it'll be. Even down to what John McCready, was it John McCready? Roethlisberger. Dang it. I got the
one
Johns
of the
mixed up.
You know what?
Oh my gosh.
McCready's an easier one to say.
It is. Roethlisberger?
We would always say tough. Johnny Mac and Johnny R. That was for short. So Johnny R.
So Johnny R, even leading us to conversations like with Johnny R, where it's like, it's that extra push to keep being our authentic selves, but not only be our authentic selves, but share that. And I think sometimes, even if we know who we are authentically, even if maybe we're in touch with our local community, I think sometimes we're even scared to maybe branch out and share that with a wider audience, right? Like, before John R spoke to you, you were probably a little nervous to go from like sharing so much of yourself with several hundred to sharing with thousands and hundreds of thousands and then millions across platforms. And in turn, you're going to touch millions of lives in person as you go from gym to competition to, you know, everywhere you go, all over the country. So it's like, so just be authentic. I feel like that's really what it all comes down to.
Yeah. Just be you. Be your authentic self. That's most important. You know, don't change it for the world.
And stay true to the people that brought you here, right? Like,
that is most important to me, obviously. As much as I shout out this gym,
you shout out everyone who impacted you, which I think is like, it's like what's that old saying? Like, leave with the guy that brought you to the dance.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, no, all these people brought me to the dance.
Yes.
Even if it's inconvenient, they're gonna see me all the time. And I think that's huge.
And actually,
please.
I got to add in something now, because I've talked a lot about this gym, and I did mention like how I taught myself tumbling. I did martial arts as a kid, and kind of combining them as the tricking thing. There was someone who did introduce me to it.
Oh, sure.
He was one of my like best friends for years. I mean, we're still, but like,
Of course,
I don't see him as much now. I'm traveling all the time. He's moved away and stuff, and doesn't really train much anymore. But Ian Cutlip is his name, which is a cool name. Ian Cutlip.
Your friends have dope names.
I know.
I mean, we got singer, we have Cutlip.
Ian Cutlip, and Jason's a singer. Ian Cutlip was in martial arts, you know. So
of course he was.
It all works. But he was the one that like really was like, dude, you should start doing this, like, because he was already doing martial arts tricking at the time, and he's like, you should start combining this stuff. And so I always pay respect to him. Like, anytime anyone asks like how the actual tricking journey started,
sure,
it's always, I say Ian Cutlip, and like, this is the place where everything, like Mel, the owner of the gym, Mel and Joe, they're the ones that gave me the space to really like kind of hone in on my craft. So yeah, Flames, Mel and Joe, and then Ian Cutlip are like, they're the ones that I am where I am today in my career, in my life. And just like, I have the platform I have mainly because they all gave me, you know, the bones to start it. So,
man, I love that. See,
one more shout out.
Even
right
there. Unbelievable in all the good ways.
Yeah.
I love it. So with that being said, let's now move on to the challenge we'll leave everyone with. So I want you to make the challenge.
Okay.
Simple challenge they can tackle this week.
Yeah.
That ties into everything we talked about.
Okay. So a good challenge, I think. And so I don't want it to be one where it's like, oh, you know, go and do something you've never done. Well, okay. Obviously.
Nothing basic.
But I think it should be a cool challenge where I want you to do something physically that you've always wanted to try, within safety, obviously, but that you've always wanted to try. Like, do something you've always wanted to try, but something physical.
Okay.
You know, get your body into it.
No, I think that's absolutely amazing. So I actually did some parkour back in college.
Oh yeah.
So I've been around. I did martial arts too in high school and like middle school. My grandma
we're the
loves
same
it.
person.
I'm
so.
trying to tell you. So it's like I wanted to save that for later. I'm like, he might think that I'm a clone, or he might be. Dang, you're older than me. I might have to be the clone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You had to throw that out there. I'm older.
Barely.
I
Barely.
know.
We're in the same range. I didn't even mean it like that. You're barely older than me. But I am the younger one here. But that's not
valid.
there. So what I will say is I did do martial arts parkour and stuff. And like the parkour thing, I didn't do it for super long, but it was one of those things as a kid. I was like, I got to try this.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole parkour club up at MSU. And I was like, I got to attend some. And it was great. It like,
dude, I guarantee
so
I
much
know
fun.
a lot of people you were probably training with.
You probably did. I believe it. And so I love the challenge of like go out this week, just do one thing that's physical that you've always wanted to do. And of course, like you said, do it within safety, which I think then comes back to community because there's all types of clubs and organizations I can almost guarantee where they probably like an intro class or like, hey, come try this one, see if you want to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's more than real. So Dom, where can we find you and check in and let you know how our physical activity went?
Yes. Send me a DM on Instagram or message me on Facebook, TikTok, anything. Every social media is Domatrick, at DomITrick. Even Snapchat, like all of them, it's all the same name. So any social media you look for me on, that's where you'll find me. The only one I don't really have is like Twitter, or what is it called now? X? I don't know. I've never had a Twitter or X, but so everything else though, even LinkedIn. Beautiful. Message me on LinkedIn if you have to.
Oh, we're getting professional.
Yeah.
I'll have to put on a suit and tie for this DM.
I'm saying. Do a forward roll in your suit and tie. Yeah.
Ooh, just for you, Dom.
But yeah, Domatrick, DomITrick, anywhere online. And
Beautiful.
I'll be looking forward to seeing or hearing what some of you guys did.
I'm looking forward to it too. And make sure you listen to this episode we're on Apple, Spotify. If you just want to hear the voice, so you're in the car. I mean, I guess you could watch it kind of in the car. I don't know if we're doing anything like that'll take their attention, but probably just stick with Apple and Spotify for safety. You can also watch us on YouTube as well. And make sure you check out the show. Check out Dom. I would too, because I've been watching him and, blows my mind. I get like the roller coaster stomach drop every time.
That's my favorite.
I open up a
feeling
clip.
in the world.
Oh, well, thank you for giving it to me while I'm sitting leisurely at my house. So,
Yes.
while he's
I
actually
wish
doing
it was that easy. I have to go and jump out of planes and stuff to get it. So
Okay, nope, not me. I'm going to do the class today, and that's going to be my stomach dropping moment. But thank you, Dom. This has been amazing, and I'll see you all later. Thank you.